Welcome back to another drawing and journaling video. I'll be drawing the stickers that will go in my journal entry and then I'll be journaling after. Arrtx kindly sent me another set of acrylic markers for review, so I'll be using their new 90B acrylic paint markers in this video. You all know I love their markers. I purchased the 120A set among others with my own money, and I'm also using their mixed media sketchbook here that I also bought with my own money. I've been loving their products for years, well before I ever made any content, and so I'm always happy whenever they send me new pens or new markers to try out. But about the video, you're probably wondering why I'm in grass. This definitely isn't my desk. Well, yesterday I was cooped up inside all day staring at screens, specifically the computer screen. I was doing some video editing, among other things, and I was lacking any connection to nature. And so today the weather was really nice and it was supposed to be sunny, and so I told myself I was going to draw outside. That way I can get some sun and not stare at a computer screen. The weather was indeed beautiful and sunny today, but I didn't really think this through because I wasn't wearing sunglasses and it was so bright. Looking at the white of this page was blinding, and so I ended up moving to the shade right here. No joke, the page was so bright that I couldn't even see what colors I was putting down on the page. It was really hard for me to draw accurately or to pick colors accurately because I just saw white everywhere. But unfortunately, this setup doesn't last long either because the sun was chasing me. You'll see it slowly creep up from the bottom, getting brighter and brighter. And so I ended up having to move this whole operation inside back to my desk. Ah well, at least I got some sun on my skin and I touched grass. Quite literally. It was still nice though. I had a blanket down on the grass and my dogs were outside hanging out with me too. And they were enjoying the sun. Speaking of the sun, there it is, and then I moved to my desk. And welcome back to the usual location. So these birds that I'm drawing, they're actual birds that have visited my backyard. I have a bird feeder with the camera, the Bird Buddy, and so it takes pictures whenever I get any visitors, which I love, and I get a lot of visitors of all kinds of species, including squirrels that love to steal the bird food. So for this drawing, I'm referencing an actual photo that the bird feeder took, and this is a northern cardinal on the left, and then on the right, I'm drawing an eastern bluebird. I drew him a lot more blue than he actually is, but I really wanted to use blues in this drawing, so I really amped up the blue. I reached the age where bird watching became really fun and really interesting a few years ago. So now I love to draw birds and watch birds, and there's so many around me that I feel lucky I get to hear them all day long every day. It's so peaceful hearing them chirp, and I'll never get over that. And also, there is a woodpecker that's nearby too. I was almost going to draw him in this spread. It's a red bellied woodpecker, but I can hear them pecking at the trees nearby. But anyway, from here I use my Epson scanner and I scan these drawings in and I print them out on sticker paper. And if you want to know how I make my stickers, I have a whole video covering that. So I'm using that same exact process of printing my stickers, and that's how I made these ones. So this journal entry is in my personal journal. I'm using the Hobonichi Cousin, and this is a dated daily journal. So I'm in this one every day. And I missed yesterday's, Saturday's entry, so I'm doing both of them at the same time, so Saturday's and Sunday's entry. I give myself grace when it comes to daily journaling. I don't force myself to do it if I don't want to. And my general rule of thumb, though, is that I don't go more than 3 days without journaling. If I go longer than 3 days, then the past few days are no longer fresh, and then I have no idea what I did those days, and so it's harder for me to journal about those days when I have no memory of them. So yeah, some days I really just don't want to journal, and I'll catch up the next day like I'm doing here. Luckily for me, those days aren't very common. I look forward to journaling every day most days, and so it's a practice that I enjoy doing, but you know, there's days, everyone has days. Whether you're not feeling well or you just don't have the time, it happens. So I give myself grace and I catch up, and I have yet to miss a single entry in this journal. And I've stuck to my rule so far this year. I haven't gone more than 3 days without journaling, and I was even traveling out of state for a few days too, and I still didn't miss it then. I feel like the longer you let yourself go without journaling, the harder it is to start up again. It's like starting from ground zero and you have to build up that momentum over again. In my mind, it's easier to keep the momentum going versus starting it back up from scratch. And here I'm free drawing my letter. Actually, I'm doing a drop cap here. So I'm doing a large first letter of the paragraph and then going into my paragraph. I love that look in books, and so I wanted to emulate that look and that layout here in my entry. And this is a black letter font. I love Gothic fonts, and so I wanted to incorporate that here. And to keep that book look, I'm doing the layout in a similar way where I'm keeping a nice margin between the paragraph and the drop cap. That way it has room to breathe and it looks like a traditional drop cap. And if you're wondering about the pen, this is the Platinum 3776 Celluloid, and the color is koi. It really does look like a koi fish. It's a very stunning pen. I love this one. And this one surprisingly has a medium nib, though it looks more like a fine. I know Platinum tends to be on the finer side since it's a Japanese pen, but even among the Japanese brands, Platinum's medium is much thinner than Pilot's or Sailor's too. Or at least that's been my experience with Platinum mediums. So if you're looking for juicy mediums, Platinum is still on the finer side. I think if you have a vintage one of these pens, it's probably juicier, but this is a more recent one. And the ink that I have in this pen is very interesting. It's Sailor Shikiori Yodaki. When you first put it on the page, it's a bright red, but then it dries down to a brownish orangish color. But there's still hints of red in there too. I don't have any other ink like it. It's very interesting. And here I'm adding washi tape. I knew I wanted to use some washi tape as extra decorative elements without having to make stickers. I love washi tapes. They're great in a pinch when you want to add more color, more design to your page. And all three of the washi tapes I have out and that I use in this entry, they are from MT Tape. That's my favorite brand for washi tape. From the quality of the tape to the actual designs of the tape, they're my favorite ones to use. I'm not really a fan of cutesy, cartoony washi tapes, so I have a very specific idea in mind of what I want for washis, and MT Tape has the ones that I love. And that's not to say I don't love cutesy things, because I do have quite a few cutesy stickers. It's just washi tape that I'm very particular with. Maybe since it's a whole roll of tape and there's a lot of it, I really want to make sure that I use the whole thing. But anyway, I'm using the washi tape here as a divider on the page. And you'll see that I'm also dividing paragraphs, so I'm putting this in between two paragraphs. One, that way it doesn't look like a really long wall of text. Sometimes I'm going after that look of really long text, but this one, I didn't want it to look like such a wall of text. And I wanted to create some more visual interest between the text, so this is a way for me to divide the two paragraphs in a pretty way. And I'm mixing patterns here too. Really, I was going after the colors. On the flower ones, I love that the flowers have both red and blue, so it incorporates the colors from both pages. I like to make my pages speak to one another when they're next to each other like this in an open spread. But enough about the washi. So I'm sure you know, I've said this before, this is my personal journal, and so with my personal journal, I usually recap my day, what I did, anything I was thinking about, anything I was feeling, anything that is personal to me, I put in this journal, so it's different from my commonplace book. So I'm not putting any quotes in here usually, it's just me and my ramblings. But even though this entry isn't about a quote, I still have one that I'd like to read to you, and actually it's not a quote, it's a poem, and I have two poems, and it's the reason this whole entry was inspired. It's the reason I was inspired to go out in nature. And so I read these two poems and I thought to myself, oh, I really need to get outside and enjoy some nature, and that's the whole reason behind this and wanting to get outside for this video, besides being cooped up in my office. And I think you'll enjoy them. They are two poems from Fernando Pessoa, and they're in the book A Little Larger Than the Entire Universe, which is an excellent book. But he wrote these two poems March 7th, 1914, and March 11th, 1914. So he wrote these poems days apart, and I love them both for different reasons, but I'll read you the first one. If I could sink my teeth into the whole earth and actually taste it, I'd be happier for a moment. But I don't always want to be happy. To be unhappy now and then is part of being natural. Not all days are sunny, and when rain is scarce, we pray for it. And so I take unhappiness with happiness, naturally, just as I don't marvel that there are mountains and plains, and that there are rocks and grass. What matters is to be natural and calm, in happiness and in unhappiness, to feel as if feeling were seeing, to think as if thinking were walking, and to remember when death comes that each day dies, and the sunset is beautiful, and so is the night that remains. And if that's how it is, it's because that's how it is. And that's an excellent reminder of balance, of unhappiness with the happiness, that happiness can never feel so full without the unhappiness. And this second poem is one that makes me pause and think about the definition of beauty, and I'll read it to you now. Sometimes on days of perfect and exact light, when things are as real as they can possibly be, I slowly ask myself why I even bother to attribute beauty to things. Does a flower really have beauty? Does a fruit really have beauty? No, they have only color and form and existence. Beauty is the name of something that doesn't exist, but that I give to things in exchange for the pleasure they give me. It means nothing. So why do I say about things they're beautiful? Yes, even I, who live only off living, am unwittingly visited by the lies of men concerning things that simply exist. How hard to be just what we are and see nothing but the visible. Beauty is hard to define. Everyone has a different definition of it, but I really love what Fernando Pessoa says here. That line in particular, beauty is the name of something that doesn't exist, but that I give to things in exchange for the pleasure they give me. So beauty is just the name that you give something that brings you pleasure. That is such a interesting way to think about beauty. The fact that beauty is an exchange of sorts. So me calling these birds beautiful, for instance, that's a silent exchange between me and the bird. The bird gifts me with its colors and presence, and I gift it with the label beautiful. But I feel like what I gift the bird, the word beauty, isn't enough. The bird is getting the short end of the stick because I'm the one who's getting the most enjoyment out of this exchange. And the bird doesn't even know that it's a part of this exchange. Anyway, that's something to noodle on. I thought it was very interesting, and I had just read those poems, so that inspired me to get into nature. Well, actually, the whole book did, because there's a lot of poems about nature in this book. But anyway, back to the entry. So this pen I'm using here, this is the Sailor Pro Gear Slim in the color Princess Kaguya. And then I'm also using another Sailor Pro Gear Slim, that blue one to the right. That one is the color Grateful Crane. And in the red Sailor, I've got Colorverse Red Aurora ink. And then in the blue, the Grateful Crane Sailor, I've got Sailor Seiboku ink. And both of these pens have a medium fine nib, which is my favorite Sailor nib. I do plan to make a video on my fountain pen collection. If you are into fountain pens, that's one to look forward to next. I'm hoping I can do that next weekend. I'm going to a pen show, and I wanted to get those pens before I did a full video of all of my collection, because I know I'm getting something special at the pen show. I don't know what it is yet, but I am. I have a general idea, though, of what I'm getting. So I'll make a video once I have those pens, whatever those pens may be. And to finish off this video, in a little bit here, you'll see me use 2 different sticker sheets. And those 2 sticker sheets came from Sticky Club. I do make almost all of my stickers, and I love to make my own stickers, but occasionally I love to mix things up and add stickers from other artists. And I really love Sticky Club because they feature artists, smaller artists, and unique artwork that you don't find anywhere else. So I love supporting small artists, and buying from Sticky Club is one way to do that. They have a monthly subscription, which is what I have. I have the vintage set, but here is the final entry, and I hope you enjoyed the video.